Hey guys, good morning. I just wanted to go over some of the model releases and kind of, how we go about finding this information online. Starting with Grok. So, well, as the news tells you, Grok's live chatbot went live this week, and it's great. I'm gonna sound like I'm knocking it a little bit in this talk, but I'm really not. I think it's awesome, and I think it offers a really nice Perplexity-like interface. Um, Pulling from both web information and from tweets. That's really a great thing, and personally has been a replacement for Perplexity for me. But let's take a look at some of the upsides and downsides. So I type in a very simple query, right? What are some important AI model releases this week? There's been a lot of them. And it tells me, this is very short. Maybe I would have liked to see more information. There's no mention of, OpenAI's 12 days of models or whatever that was. But at a very high level, this is succinct, this is good, right? So Google Gemini released a bunch of stuff. OpenAI released a bunch of stuff, including the O1 reasoning model. And X's Grok chatbot went live for everybody. So this is very good. An interesting thing is if you see the sources are, they're articles and they're tweets. As you can see at the top, right? These are, 15 web pages, right? So a lot of articles and a lot of tweets. But already you can sort of see, and again, this is going to sound like a criticism, and maybe it is, but it's just sort of observing. These are going to be sources from publishers, right? So you're going to have TechCrunch. Also, you're going to have sort of Unwind AI, which has 800 followers. I'm not really sure what it is. It looks pretty good. I'm going to subscribe to this, but kind of an aggregator, right? Alex Volkov, who's sort of, who's an AI influencer with 30,000 followers. He's pretty popular. And then, again, an influencer here, CoinGeek, which I'm not entirely even sure what that is, but I guess some sort of AI crypto information thing. Like kind of a lot of aggregators. So keep this in mind. And also, again, some tweets. So it does try to bring in small tweets with, tiny number of impressions, but these seem kind of random. Again, either aggregators or some small users like this, empowering small businesses. Like it's, I don't know, like this looks an account like I would probably mute or block. Just be honest, like I don't want information from this, and I'm surprised that these are one of the 12 tweets being pulled in. But the information is pretty good. But as you can see, like again, it's not showing any details. So it's not showing me, the 12 days. It's not talking about the really great video model that Google put out that's better than Sora. So I ask, okay, so what about AI vision models? So it tells me about Sora, but it's still actually not telling me about Google's Veo. Interestingly enough, if I look at the posts, if I scroll down, it compares Sora. But again, I'm going to see Veo pretty quickly. I'm going to see this an influencer, but a post that had a lot of engagement. The Veo is really good. People sharing this stuff, right? Some of these examples. I mean, it does seem to over-index on Sora a little bit, but it is kind of all over the place. Again, a lot of influencers, some original content, not that much. Answers are good, but again, it's literally not mentioning Veo, which is a little bit surprising. Okay, and then the final question I say, hey, what about the Google Gemini Flash model? So that's the model that came out earlier today that people are extremely excited about. So Noam Shazir, who's rocking the old school, Twitter egg here essentially, went back from Character AI to Google and $2 billion, acquisition and released this model. So it's kind of a slightly complicated story in that Google packed all of these Gemini releases, and one of them was just this thinking model that obviously then people got extremely excited about. I mean, Noam posted about it. Noam's a legend. A lot of other people posted about this, and I asked Grok about it. So to give Grok credit, asked a very specific question like this, it does mention. So it says that this capability, that capability, all these Gemini ones. But if you do go down here, it does have this Gemini Flash experimental thinking chain of thought. There isn't a citation here, unfortunately, but it does bring it up. So it's hard to get new information, but you could sort of learn it if you wanted to. As you can see, mostly the basis for these articles are the official releases from Google and the DeepMind. Although if you look at, again, the posts are all about Gemini 2.0 Flash thinking. So, even Tech Meme talks about it. I mean, everyone's talking about the influencers, the scientists, everyone's grabbing onto it, along with Logan's original early post. So I think, actually, this is, again, why I'm not really, I sound like I'm being critical of Grok, but it's actually really just a step away, at least for these kind of queries, just emphasizing maybe finding the right tweets, but then using the tweets more when they're there and really pulling that in. The information's clearly there. Just to see what that story looks like, right? So if we look at here, this is the earlier version of the story. So if you look at just releases in AI products or AI modeling on DeepNewz, you're going to see this story right here. So great image, of course, we pulled, of course, with, Google laughing and, the baby of OpenAI crying, them hitting #1 on LM nice little summary here written by O1, ironically enough. But basically the summary is fine. It's a good story, but then you're also going to get you're going to get the links from TechCrunch, and you're going to get all the tweets. And that's what I mean. Within an hour, I mean, this story published less than an hour ago. I mean, you had 62 posts. Sounds low, actually. You've got about 80. You've got 80 tweets from top sources about, including the tech meme one that we showed. Basically, all the influencers, all the people. But if you scroll down, you're also going to see, Jeff Dean. You're going to see, Jeff Dean again. Noam should be down here somewhere. So so we're also there he is. There's Noam. There's Logan's original tweet that kind of started this off. And Jeff Dean's as well. So it's showing those best sources, and I'm pretty confident Grok could pull that in too. And it also shows why, basing this on tweets and not just articles is such a big deal. I could check Perplexity. I'm sure it'll be fine by later today. There's articles, there's things, but a lot of times the tweets really are they're going to say it sooner. 2, you're going to see when top authors are talking about it, is it interesting? But then 3, you actually can sort of potentially avoid getting it from the aggregate, the tweet aggregators and the roundup people, and getting it really from the original source. Like, I really like that part. Maybe you agree, maybe it's not a big deal to you, but I think it's great to see it, these things directly from Noam and Jeff and whoever's interesting. If they're even if people are retweeting, AI researcher who was on the project, that could get a lot of attention. That's going to work its way into the story. And then finally, we're working on an interface like this ourselves based on the news. And you can sort of see this. It takes a while to render, so I sort of pre-render it. But if you can see the question, just very simple. What is the biggest news in AI modeling? And gives it a little bit more instructions. And if you look at what this wrote for us, again, the format's not nearly as enticing as Grok. But if you see here, as of December 19th, significant advancements have been. It immediately jumps to the AI to the Gemini Flash 2.0 thinking, right? It does the thinking. It does the citation that we showed. It cites this article, which is great. It's going to give the headlines. It's going to mention that it's doing well in the LM arena. Obviously, here it would be great to show an image. Our visualization isn't that great, And then the second story it talks about is also a really big story from yesterday. So this is the whole Anthropic talking about fake alignments and models. The model can sort of align and cheat itself and whatever. Very interesting story. Again, it's going to include very specific examples here in the summary, and is going to link to that story, which was probably the biggest story in AI modeling yesterday, and it's still relevant today. And then it's going to go down. Okay, third most important. Okay, OpenAI released the O1 reasoning model, which is doing really well on LiveBench. It's outperforming Sonnet. Actually, interesting enough, we tried that model for writing here on this specific task, and it didn't do very well. Maybe we're giving it the wrong instructions. I'm not really sure. This is why we're still using O1 preview, so kind of a strange result. But anyway, and you're gonna go down the line, and there's other results, and so I think here, as you can see, by just providing the top 40 results, and I don't even think we need that many from DeepNewz, the AI is able to organize, okay, what are the top stories right now? And I think it gets them completely right. The Gemini Flash is the most important and the most recent. The fake Anthropic one is number 2, and then it goes down from there. And really, I mean, it's because we're pulling it from the tweets and we're getting those original sources, right? So a little more specific, could also be a prompting thing. Like, I'm guessing I could get this level of specificity from Grok if I wanted to. That's not what they're optimizing for. And the other thing I'll give them a lot of credit for, other than the view, which is fantastic. And I mean, this is a really, really good product. It's also quite fast. Even though I pre-rendered it here, I could give it another question and it's going to answer it pretty quickly, which is not as easy as it sounds. and is super important, right? Like you don't necessarily want to wait 30 to 90 seconds for your response. Anyway, wanted to take a look. Maybe I'll post the links, but exciting. And I, for one, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to try this Gemini 2.0 thinking model. I think it's important, at least for me, that it basically comes from Noam and his team. That's not reflected in our story. It should be. But yeah, exciting stuff. And that's something you would know if you're on AI Twitter, or you would also know if you are checking DeepNewz. And I think Grok surfaces it, but for now, only if you look for it for now. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Take care, and have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that.